New trouble for celebrity chef Paula Deen. She lost her TV show on Friday. Now key sponsors are looking at their options.
Her chirpy, "Hey y'all," greeting is just a pinch of the Southern charm that cooking queen Paula Deen used to attract millions of fans who don't turn their noses up at cooking with cake mix. Her down-home, grandmotherly appeal helped her build a culinary empire with restaurants, cookbooks, and cooking shows. But Deen's public persona is a tiny bite of her entire story. Apart from cooking delicious food, there's a lot more to her life than you know. Check it out, as Paula Deen's transformation is seriously turning heads. Her idyllic childhood memories are marred by a shameful incident. Paula Deen grew up in Albany, Georgia, where her grandparents owned a quaint resort called River Bend. In her 2006 book, Paula Deen, It Ain't All About the Cookin', she described the resort as a child's paradise with plenty of amenities, including a pool and a skating rink. She fondly remembers collecting arrowheads along the riverbank, recalling, "They were very plentiful," she said on What's Cooking with Paula Deen. Deen's school experience at Baconton Elementary School was also filled with fond memories, particularly the peanut butter balls served for lunch, a recipe she later requested from the daughter of a cafeteria worker. Eventually, her parents purchased a gas station nearby, and part of its souvenir shop became the family's new home. She nostalgically recalls in her memoir, "I could walk into my mama's souvenir shop after school and start eating candy for free." While Deen had a generally carefree childhood, she also recounts a troubling incident that has haunted her. One day, a black babysitter brought her daughter along while watching Deen. The little girl had a blistered hand, and Deen, thinking it would be fun, hit the blisters with a paddle. The girl's mother struck Deen in response, and Deen's grandfather had the woman sent to jail. "All this time it's bothered me," Deen wrote, reflecting on the event with regret. Deen also experienced the harsh realities of segregation firsthand. In her memoir, she confesses, "I was so blind I didn't get that it was wrong," reflecting on the segregated facilities at places like the Arctic Bear Drive-In Theater. Her childhood and teen years, coinciding with the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s, exposed her to the fight for justice happening around her. When she was in high school in 1965, her class was the only one in the area that had integrated black students, shortly after the Albany movement of 1961 that called for an end to desegregation. Reflecting on these experiences, she wrote, "It was happening right under our noses. Our local African Americans were claiming their right for fair and equal treatment, and some white folks were inspired to rethink old ways." Paula Deen wanted to be a cheerleader, but fate had other plans. Paula Deen was immersed in the world of cooking from a young age. Her grandparents owned a resort that featured a restaurant where local wildlife was a staple on the menu. "My grandmother would prepare rabbit and squirrel, and she would cook the most wonderful fish roe," Deen recounted on Larry King Live. During her sophomore year of high school, Deen's curiosity about cooking blossomed, leading her to ask her mother for a lesson. "I wasn't in there 5 minutes before she said, 'Okay, honey, you have to go now.' I made her so nervous she was about ready to throw up," she told Good Housekeeping. This early experience didn't immediately spark her interest in a culinary career. Instead, Paula Deen was a senior superlative at Albany High School, a title awarded to 10 of the most popular boys and girls at the time of their graduation. Deen fondly recalls being a social butterfly, but readily admits she flunked algebra about 3 times. "If I could have made a living cheerleading, that would have been my chosen path," she wrote. In her late teens, Deen faced conflicting aspirations. Her father wanted her to become a dental hygienist, but Deen harbored dreams of becoming a model. Determined to pursue her passion, she secretly applied to a modeling school and got accepted without her parents' knowledge. However, her parents opposed the idea of her traveling alone to pursue a modeling career. Facing her parents' disapproval, Deen decided to take a different path and married her high school sweetheart Jimmy Deen in 1965 when she was just 18 years old, according to Success magazine. She remembered her father's words vividly. We can give you a stove and a refrigerator, or a big wedding. Paula chose the practical option, opting for the stove and refrigerator, and began her life with Jimmy Dean. After marriage, her dreams of modeling faded. Instead, she joined Albany First Federal Savings Bank as a teller, setting aside her ambitions for a more conventional career. The role tragedy played in her cooking career. Paula Deen's dreams of a blissful marriage were shattered when Jimmy Dean started drinking heavily. In her memoir, It Ain't All About the Cookin', she revealed that alcohol use was a frequent source of conflict between them. However, this strained marriage soon became the least of Paula's concerns when her father developed heart problems. He underwent heart valve replacement surgery, which unfortunately led to a deadly blood clot. Paula was just 19 years old when he passed away. "The night my daddy died, I had to sleep between my husband and my mother in the same bed," she told Oprah Winfrey. This traumatic experience triggered a raw fear that took over her life for the next 2 decades. This fear manifested as agoraphobia, making even mundane errands like grocery shopping overwhelming. Dean later recognized this condition after hearing about it on an episode of The Phil Donahue Show. "Some days I could get to the supermarket, but I could never go too far inside," she told the New York Times. "I learned to cook with the ingredients they kept close to the door." Seeking professional help wasn't a popular option at the time. "In those days, in Georgia, nobody was going to a psychiatrist just to mend your spirit," she explained. Seeking solace in her grief, Paula turned to cooking with her grandmother. "I said, Grandmama, I've got to learn how to make your chicken and dumplings, just in case this is a bad dream and my daddy comes back," she recounted to NPR. Her life took a brief turn for the better with the birth of her son Jamie in 1967. 3 years later, she welcomed her second son, Bobby. Tragedy struck again shortly after Bobby's birth, when Paula's mother succumbed to bone cancer. At just 23 years old, Paula found herself not only a mother of 2, but also the guardian of her 16-year-old brother. This period of relentless loss and responsibility took a toll on her mental health, leading to severe anxiety and panic attacks. She began carrying a paper bag to breathe into during panic episodes. Despite her struggles, Paula found some comfort in the kitchen. "I cooked everything my granny taught me and then some. Fried chicken, collard greens, country fried steak. My family ate good," she wrote. Immersing herself in cooking became a way to cope with her anxiety and the emotional turmoil she was experiencing. This return to her culinary roots was unknowingly setting the stage for her future career as one of America's most beloved chefs. Paula Deen learned she had agoraphobia and made a big move. Paula Deen's culinary skills had her son's teachers happier than a tick on a fat dog when the holidays rolled around. Bobby Deen told Good Housekeeping, "Oh, the divinity cakes, the Buckeyes, and the coconut balls. I always got great grades in January." However, getting the ingredients for these tasty treats could be a real nightmare if Paula suffered a panic attack while shopping. "I have gone off and left many a buggy of groceries sitting there in the grocery store," she shared on Larry King Live. Eventually, Dean became unable to shop at all. "I stopped doing anything that required me to leave my 4 walls," she wrote in her book. One afternoon, a friend who was aware of her struggles called and told her to watch the episode of The Phil Donahue Show airing at that moment. This is how she learned that she had agoraphobia, a condition that makes those afflicted fear being outside in certain environments and situations, with many only feeling safe in their own home. Unfortunately, Dean didn't have the financial means to seek treatment for her condition, which made it especially stressful when her husband decided to move the family to Savannah in 1986. "I was devastated and sick with fear," she recalled. "I didn't know a soul there, and we'd all have to move so far from home." Paula Deen started a catering business to support her family. All Paula Deen wanted after her marriage was to be a good wife and mother. "It was my dream that my husband would earn the living and take care of us, and that making money would never be my responsibility," she wrote in her memoir. However, her husband kept losing jobs, and Paula soon realized that the family couldn't depend on his income alone to run the household. Determined to make ends meet, Deen rolled up her sleeves and took on a variety of jobs, from hanging wallpaper and cleaning bathrooms in a Kroger grocery store to selling grease absorbers and managing billing at a medical center. Eventually, Deen turned to her passion for cooking and began a catering business called The Bag Lady, named after her son's term for the venture. Starting in 1989, the business specialized in lunch delivery and quickly became wildly popular. This venture marked the first step in Paula Deen's journey to becoming a celebrity chef. Paula Deen's early successes helped her start a restaurant. Paula Deen had been diligently saving a little every day from the profits of her catering business, The Bag Lady. She also scrimped and saved at the grocery store, admitting that she wasn't above buying slightly old fruit for a discounted price. By being judicious with her money, Deen managed to save $4,000, enough to rent a restaurant space for her business. She named it The Lady, and it had a capacity of 30 to 40 seats. Deen served breakfast, lunch, and dinner, with her sons and their girlfriends waiting tables. After her lease ended, Deen bought her own place in downtown Savannah. Within 3 years, USA Today named it International Meal of the Year, and other accolades soon followed. Deen was unstoppable. The Lady and Sons expanded to a 3-story building with over 300 seats, solidifying her status as a culinary star. Paula Deen's first cookbook helped her hit the big time. Paula Deen approached writing much like she did her food business, with enthusiasm and determination, despite her lack of prior experience. She had no knowledge of traditional publishing or top publishers, but she possessed a treasure trove of handwritten recipes passed down through generations, stored in her mother's brown paper sack. Her desire was simple: to share these recipes with the world. Unlike many first-time authors, Deen found writing her very first cookbook, Favorite Recipes from the Lady and Her Friends, so stinking easy to write, it was unbelievable, as she recalled in her memoir. As fate would have it, a copy of her book caught the attention of an editor who approached Deen with an offer to publish it through Random House. Published in 1998 as The Lady and Son Savannah Country Cooking, her first book was an instant success. And it sold, it sold, it sold. America was ready for Southern country cooking, it seemed, she reflected. With an opportunity to promote the book on the shopping network QVC, Deen soon found herself selling tens of thousands of copies per day. Paula Deen got her own show on Food Network. Paula Deen's introduction to national television came through a nerve-wracking appearance opposite Spencer Christian on Good Morning America. When the segment aired, I could hear the quiver in my voice and I could see my hand shake, but I was never again scared on TV after that, she candidly recalled in her memoir. It was a pivotal moment that hinted at her potential as a television personality. Fortuitously, Australian journalist and television host Gordon Elliott entered her life through a mutual friend. Elliott, known for his show Door Knock Dinners on Food Network, later featured Deen on his program, which opened doors for her in the television industry. Despite subsequent appearances on shows like Ready, Set, Cook, Deen initially felt that having her own show was out of reach. Here I was, this gray-headed older Southern girl who wasn't a size 2 and didn't have a culinary degree. I think Food Network had their doubts whether America had a need for anything like that, she revealed to Food and Wine. Nevertheless, Deen eventually secured her own show titled Paula's Home Cooking, which enjoyed a successful run for over a decade. Reflecting on the shift in Food Network's perspective, she attributed it to the aftermath of the September 11, 2001 tragedy. I think a lot of people needed comfort food, she observed, pointing out how this changed the network's approach and opened the door for her distinctive brand of Southern cuisine on television. Paula Deen remarried in 2004, thanks to her dogs. Paula Deen's first marriage to Jimmy Dean spanned 27 years, marked by persistent challenges such as his heavy drinking, which cast a shadow over their relationship from the start. For about 25 years, I'd endured not only my own awful agoraphobia, but also Jimmy's drinking, his insults, and both of us tearing each other down in 1,000 different ways, she reflected in her memoir, Paula Deen. It ain't all about the cooking. Following the success of her catering business, Deen made the difficult decision to end her marriage in 1992. As her fame expanded beyond Georgia, her focus shifted entirely to work. However, she soon realized that her work-life balance had become skewed. My business was well on its way to being successful, but my social life was in the pits. My life was consumed with work and family, about 95% work and 5% family, she wrote. Seeking a change, Deen prayed for a neighbor who could bring new joy into her life. Miraculously, one day her spirited dogs led her to a neighboring house where she encountered a man she had never met before, casually leaning on his fence and chatting on his cell phone. He looked like Ernest Hemingway, she recalled. This man was Michael Groover, a tugboat captain by profession. Their connection was instant and profound, leading to their marriage in 2004. It took courage for Paula Deen to finally write her memoir. By 2007, Paula Deen had reached a comfortable stage in her life. With 5 published books, her own show on Food Network, a chain of restaurants, and a second marriage, she had achieved considerable success. However, publishing a memoir was a daunting step that required immense courage from Deen, especially one that laid bare both the highs and lows of her life. In the foreword of her 2007 book, Paula Deen, "It ain't all about the cooking," she candidly expressed her apprehensions. Maybe if you heard the truth about Paula Deen, about the mistakes I made in my life, how bad my judgment's been at times, and how guilty I feel because my mothering wasn't always so wonderful, well, maybe you wouldn't be quite as loving to me as you have been, and that would kill me. In this memoir, Deen portrayed herself as open and vulnerable, far from the perfect personality portrayed on television. She admitted to being a smoker, describing it as an addiction I can't be quit of, though I try every day. Despite delving into her private life and personal struggles, the book also showcased the recipes that had initially propelled Deen to fame. Paula Deen hid her diabetes, making fans furious. Paula Deen's restaurants are renowned for serving hearty comfort food, exemplified by creations like her famous burger sandwiched between glazed donuts instead of a traditional bun. However, when it came to light that the queen of comfort food had kept her type 2 diabetes diagnosis secret for 3 years, some fans found it harder to swallow her culinary offerings. According to the Mayo Clinic, diets high in fat and sugar, staples of Deen's cuisine, can contribute to obesity and subsequently increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. After revealing her diagnosis, Deen faced significant criticism for continuing to promote butter-laden dishes while being aware of the health implications. Reflecting on her diagnosis, she admitted, "I went home to my kitchen and threw out everything that was white. White bread, white rice, white potatoes, white pasta. I did that for 4 months, y'all." This drastic change in diet led to a notable weight loss of nearly 40 pounds. However, the revelation that Deen had concealed her condition from the public for years, all while reportedly earning over $10 million annually from advocating such foods, sparked considerable backlash. Her announcement also coincided with a lucrative endorsement deal with drug company Novo Nordisk, further souring public opinion about her actions and credibility. In 2013, Deen admitted to using racist slurs and lost nearly everything. Paula Deen openly admits that using colorful language can be one of her weaknesses. "I warn people in my cooking classes that I can be a bit risque, and I really hope I don't offend them," she wrote. Yet it was precisely her language that would ultimately lead to her downfall. At the height of her culinary fame, Food Network shocked many fans in 2013 by parting ways with Deen. The reason proved even more shocking. Deen had admitted to using racist language and condoning racist jokes in one of her restaurants, as reported by the New York Times. This revelation swiftly led to the cancellation of her Food Network shows and the termination of a lucrative partnership with Walmart. Addressing her fans, Deen expressed deep remorse, stating to Today, "I want to apologize to everyone for the wrongs that I've done, and I want to learn and grow from this. Inappropriate, hurtful language is completely unacceptable. I've made many mistakes along the way, but I plead with you, my children, my team, my fans, my partners, I plead for your forgiveness." Despite some supporters, critics found her apology lacking sincerity, citing other controversies surrounding Deen's personal life. Ultimately, Food Network decided to remove her from their lineup. Her half-baked stint on Dancing with the Stars. Despite facing scandals, Paula Deen ensured fans could continue enjoying her indulgent dishes and sharp wit by launching her own network in 2014. A year later, she accepted an invitation to compete on Dancing with the Stars. Critics argued that the show's decision to cast her was a form of condoning her past racism, as noted in The Guardian's piece titled, "To cast Paula Deen on Dancing with the Stars is to condone her racism." Despite controversy, Deen's popularity soared on the show. Known for her bold personality, she even playfully lifted her skirt and showed her backside to the judges after a jive routine, keeping her humorous persona alive. Throughout her time on DWTS, she joked about her wardrobe malfunctions, once telling Tom Bergeron, "I had on white underwear when I started, but they probably ain't white no more." Her antics sometimes overshadowed the dancing itself, leaving viewers amused or perhaps losing their appetites if enjoying Southern goulash. Deen was eliminated in Week 6, while Bindi Irwin ultimately won the Mirrorball Trophy. After her exit, Deen expressed feeling judged harshly by the show's panel throughout her journey, seeking sympathy from her fan base. Paula Deen started her own network. After Paula Deen's 11-year career with Food Network came to an abrupt end, a cascade of repercussions followed. Like falling dominoes, her affiliations with numerous brands crumbled. Target ceased selling Deen's line of cookware, as reported by the Star Tribune, and Walmart announced it would no longer carry her merchandise. Drug maker Novo Nordisk dropped her as their spokesperson, and Random House terminated their publishing agreement with her. Undeterred, armed with her cooking tools and determination, Deen sought to reconnect with her audience by launching the Paula Deen Live Tour. She also took control by acquiring the rights to her shows and launched them on her own digital platform, the Paula Deen Network, along with new original content. Despite the setbacks, Deen remained in the public eye, diversifying into various roles, including a memorable stint on Dancing with the Stars. Slowly but surely, she made her return to television with Positively Paula, which premiered on RFD-TV in 2018, marking a resurgence in her television career. Throughout the lockdown, Paula Deen posted cooking videos on YouTube. When the COVID-19 lockdown began in March 2020, Paula Deen found inspiration from Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks, who performed a concert online. Eager to connect with her fans, Deen launched her own quarantine cooking series with her team's help, posting videos of herself preparing simple recipes. Now, with so much time on our hands, it's a great opportunity to get into the kitchen and tackle something you've been putting off, she encouraged in one of the episodes. One of the early episodes featured the Southern specialty, Georgia cracker salad, where Deen, not known for from-scratch cooking, used pre-made saltine crackers and a tub of mayonnaise. The series also introduced her daughter-in-law, Claudia, who offered lighter fare like acai bowls and avocado toast, contrasting with Deen's traditional style. By November 2020, the quarantine cooking series transitioned into holiday recipes, showcasing dishes like sweet potato bake, broccoli casserole, and southern cornbread dressing. Since the beginning of 2021, Deen has surprised her audience by focusing more on healthy cooking, dedicating entire weeks to air-fried dishes, and exploring lighter alternatives in her culinary repertoire. She debuted a dramatically different look. In 2024, Paula Deen sparked significant attention with an appearance alongside Lara Trump, sharing an Instagram video where she proudly displayed a pot roast dinner she had cooked for Lara. This meeting came years after Donald Trump defended Deen amid controversy over her use of the N-word in 2013. Trump's response on X defended her, contrasting her treatment with the user's use of the word, stirring further debate and criticism. However, the focus shifted when Paula Deen's appearance in a TikTok video revealed a noticeably slimmer figure, prompting speculation that she might have used Ozempic, a medication used for weight loss. Comments on social media ranged from humorous remarks about her transformation to more critical jabs, reflecting the polarized opinions surrounding her. Despite ongoing criticism, Deen's resilience and ability to bounce back were evident. Her net worth, estimated around $14 million, and commentary from PR experts like Chris Klein suggested that society tends toward forgiveness, though not universally. She continued to navigate public scrutiny while maintaining a presence in media and culinary circles. From controversies and career setbacks to personal transformations and newfound ventures, Deen's resilience is a testament to the complexities of fame and forgiveness in the public eye. What are your thoughts on Paula Deen's evolution over the years? Join the conversation below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on Paula Deen's journey and other intriguing stories in the world of entertainment and lifestyle.